Welcome back to the GCN Tech Clinic. This is the show where we answer all of your tech-related questions that you've been leaving under all our videos using the hashtag AskGCNTech. And, well, I guess without further ado, we should get straight into it. No messing around.
Right.
Hit it, Alex.
First question is from David Stakes. They say, in the recent Sydney floods, my kicker snap went underwater. If their insurance is approved, do they go for another kicker snap, which they use with their older bike, which is only 7-speed, or do they go for a more modern, say, kicker direct drive trainer? They're not sure on what the model is. Their good bike is 11-speed, so should fit. Most of the time, they only ride indoors when it rains, so it's kind of hard decisions which way to go.
Personally, I would go for the direct drive. Having used the two, there is a big difference in how they feel.
Yeah.
The direct drive is a lot more realistic and you can do so much more with that. But saying that, if you aren't going to use it that often, you'd probably be all right with just the wheel on.
Yeah.
But if you did want to start using it more, doing more training on it, then definitely the direct drive.
I'm completely agreeing with you there. Although, I know they've said currently there's been floods in Sydney, but I didn't think it rained that much in Sydney.
Well, we were talking about this before, and I actually researched it, and apparently it rains on average just over 140 days here in Sydney, which is a lot more than we thought.
Yeah, it's more than we thought. Okay, right, next question. Do you want to read out?
Next question is in from Victor. Which one is better, upgrading bearings or getting stiffer equipment for flat roads?
Neither. Easy. Save your time, effort, and money to invest in things that are going to make aerodynamic improvements and upgrades. Firstly, I would focus on upgrading your body position.
I was going to say, that's free.
Yeah, that's
really.
free.
You don't need to spend any money.
That'll have the biggest impact, and then you can look to upgrade your equipment after that. Cool. Next question is from, interesting name, I'm not sure how you say this. Astad Palkiwala. Yeah, I think that's as good as I'm going to say it. Can I convert my TT bike to a 1x from a 2x by removing the inner chainring and the front mech? Yes, you most certainly can. Well, that was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Next question. Next one is in from Arcane fan.
Yeah.
Arcane fan. I know that tubeless shows lower drag in tests, but I can't help wonder if that's because tests are done at a steady speed in a fixed direction. In real world, we use it. Wouldn't the sealant be slushing around in the tyre, if that makes sense?
Now, yeah, it's a slightly tricky question. I understand what I mean, though.
It's quite tricky.
Basically, I don't think it's going to have any impact whatsoever. So
surely this would have been tested.
Yeah, people would have tested.
Yeah.
Basically, the amount of sealant that you put in the tyre is relatively low, and when the wheel is spinning, even at a fairly slow speed, I think it's the centrifugal force will fling all the sealant to the outer edge of the tyre. It's not going to pool in the bottom section. I think it's centrifugal force. No doubt if I'm wrong, someone will correct me in the comments section.
I mean, it's a big word, so...
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to have any impact overall. However, that said, in all of the research and tests that I've seen and conducted myself, the setup that exhibits the lowest rolling resistance is a super lightweight clincher tyre and a latex inner tube. So there you go. Okay, next question in is from Andrew Birdsey. They say, hey, Ollie and Alex, also maybe Manon as well.
Here I am.
They've upgraded to the new 12-speed Ultegra. They've gone semi-compact chain set, so 52-36. They want to run 2 sets of wheels, a deeper set and a shallow set for riding on the flat. Well, the deeper set for the flat anyway. They want to run 2 cassettes, an 11-30 and an 11-34. As we know, the 12-speed has only got 1 mech cage length, so they want to know if it's going to be okay and if the chain is going to be long enough. What will your sort of starting point be for checking this?
My first one would be the chain length.
Yeah.
Making sure that's all right, just making sure the trailer isn't
extended too far.
That would be my first one.
So I checked this in a work stand. I want to go out and ride first. So you
can't really see it when you ride.
Yeah, so I shift into the large chainring on the wheels with the largest cassette. Yep. That way you're going to know it's be okay for the smaller one. And if you shift into the top of the cassette, you want to make sure that the rear mech isn't stretched too far. So what I mean by that is that the cage isn't pulled all the way up to the chain rings and it's got a little bit of spring movement left in it. Otherwise, the chain is going to be too short. It's going to put stress on the mech hanger. It's not going to work very well. You risk breaking stuff. And then on the smaller cassette, it should be fine. So if it all works okay on the big cassette, you'll be fine on the smaller one. Happy days. You also want to make sure it all wears at the same rate. So don't use like one new cassette and a new chain and then one old cassette.
That could be a recipe for disaster.
There you go. Fairly simple.
Next question is in from Carlos. Hi Manon and guys, do you think that Pogacar pulls his hair after putting his helmet on to have the same bunch of hair out on the same spot every single time?
I have no idea, but I was wondering this the other day.
I didn't even notice.
You not noticed?
I have noticed, but I didn't know it was every single time. But maybe that's his like signature look.
We could sort of go full speculation here. Do you think it's even his hair, or do you think he's got a fake bit of hair stuck on the inside of the helmet?
That is a good point.
So when he just puts the helmet on, it's just always there. Maybe it's like big double bluff. He doesn't do it at all.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, we're on to the real sort of burning tech questions here, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are.
Right, next question is from Dureg. They say, I see riders at the Tour de France sometimes warm up or cool down with the wheel-on trainers. Does this not burn or damage the tyre? And then I'd like to know if amateur riders could do the same without ruining their tyres.
I guess, yeah, you can do the same without ruining tyres. You just have to set it up correctly. But I guess at the Tour de France, the riders will use it to do a gentle cool down or a gentle warm up. If they're doing a hard effort, I'd say they'd use a direct drive trainer. So it's when you're sprinting and doing those hard efforts that you can sometimes wear the wheel more if it's not incorrectly.
Yeah, I completely agree. The tyres, for short periods of time, such as warming up, cooling down, you're not going to wear your tyre out if you've set it all up correctly. Yes, if you try and use a wheel-on trainer for a prolonged period of time, like all winter, then you are going to impact the tyre. But that's why indoor training tyres exist. Yeah. So you don't wear your good tyres out.
Yeah, they definitely are worth investing in, as I found out. And our last question in today is from Spaghetti Badger. Very unique name. Yeah. I recently scratched my frame, very minor, after wiping out on a corner next to a field that had been, well, basically there was a lot of cow poo.
Well, their exact words are overzealously fertilised with cow byproducts, which is a very polite
It's a very nice way of putting cow poo. But basically, there was cow. Did he fall in the cow poo?
Messy business. Anyway, the rest of the question says, would standard model or Airfix paint be fine to cover up those small scratches? They say they've got aluminium frame and carbon forks. Seeing as you're a bit of a sort of the GCN's resident paint expert.
Yeah, I get all my expertise from Fat Creations, which they are the proper experts. And they said for small scratches like that, you can literally just use nail varnish to cover it up. You can sand it down a tiny bit if there is any lumps and bumps. Sand it down a little bit. Nail varnish. Put a top coat on there of nail varnish as well. And relatively cheap. But if you do have, the proper products and you want to do a proper job, then feel free. But the really small ones, you won't be able to tell.
I think from my small experience with painting any bits like that, is you only need to use a tiny little bit.
Yep.
I think the mistake people make is they use too much.
Big blob on. Yeah. Nice thin. You could do a few coats of nice thin paint. Yeah.
Okay, well that's it for this week's GCN Tech Clinic. Hope you found it helpful. Apologies if we didn't get to answer your question. Hopefully, if you keep commenting it, we'll get to it next week.
We definitely will.
Right, should we go have some lunch?
Let's do it.
It's that time already. See you later.